All right, Legendary Tactics is at Gencon 2024. Today we're with Ross at NorthStar Games. We've got 3 different games we're going to check out. We've got Sacred Valley, Biomos, and Nature. So Ross, thank you for having us, and our audience appreciates you letting them in on some of the fun at Gencon today. So
I will do my best to give you a whistle-stop tour through what we've got on the booth at the minute. I'm not going to cover all titles, I'm afraid, but if you want to check those out, our website's NorthStarGames.com. But let's talk about what's launching at Gencon this year. So at Gencon this year, we've got 2 new titles. We've got a cozy little puzzle game called Biomos, which is about terraforming a planet to make it suitable for life. This is 1 to 4 players, takes about 20 minutes, and the central mechanism of it is a sliding token kind of valley, and you're trying to manipulate the different terrain within the planet to match the patterns that are on cards. So if you like pattern matching games, then this is kind of like a really nice addictive puzzle loop. You can also play a family mode, which is really clean and straightforward, or you can play a standard mode, which allows you to terraform the planet. So say, for example, you place a mountain token and you put water next to it. You can change that water into ice. And again, you're trying to claim these biome cards. That's competitive between the players. So you're trying to see what everyone else is doing, and you're trying to make sure you create that pattern of terrain that matches the biome to claim it before everyone else. When your planet's full of tokens, that's when the game concludes. And again, it's like a 20-minute puzzle. So it's one of those things, if you like those snappy puzzles with a lot of variety in there and a good amount of strategy, then that would be one to check out.
It's really compact too, I noticed.
Yeah.
That's really nice. So with people who like terraforming Mars, like this game is a lighter version?
This is a lot more simple than Terraforming Mars. Terraforming Mars is a pretty complex game with lots of cards. Again, this is a 20-minute experience. So really, although you're terraforming, the theme is the same, but I wouldn't say like mechanically you're doing the same. You're not creating that card engine that Terraforming Mars is famous for. This is pattern building. So if you like match 3 games, like the apps that you play on the phone, things along those lines.
Azul, things like that.
Azul, those kind of abstracty puzzles. It's a little less abstract than that, but if you're into like puzzle-based play, then that's where this is at.
Excellent, thank you.
That's all right.
What do we got next?
Sacred Valley is a farming game based in the mountains of Peru. So the idea behind this is you each play as a different family of farmers who specialize in one crop. Maybe you're experts in green beans or corn, or I like to call myself potato people. Okay. I'm from England, so we like potatoes over there. Anyway, so the idea is you have one crop that you're farming on different terraces. What you're trying to do is you're trying to create sections of the same crop, because the more it's tile-based, the more tiles of that crop you place together, the higher the payout. However, what you can do is you can spend money to invest in other people's crops and technology. So in the game, what you'll be doing is you'll be buying seeds that you want to plant into the terrace, connected to greater benefit yourself, but you'll be paying attention to what everyone else is doing, because if multiple people start planting chilies, well, you want to get involved in that, because the bigger the chili patch gets, whenever you go in, you get the benefit of all of the previous tiles that are there.
Oh, that's a neat mechanism.
So the idea is although it's competitive, there's a lot of collective farming that takes place. Co-opetition, exactly. Also, there's the specialism tiles that allow you to change the game rules in lots of different ways, but the core mechanisms are really simple and straightforward that allows you to pay attention to the market play, because the market's variable, the value of things is changing, the value of seeds is changing, and what's available to do there. So there's a lot of strategy in simple core rules.
Oh wow. How competitive would you say the game is? Like, is this one where people are going to be at each other's throats, like competitive? Or is this a like, hey, I'll help you if you help me?
It's down to the players at the table. You can block off people's crops and then they have to grow somewhere else. You can fence off their progress. I've played games where it's been really nice and friendly, and I've played games where everyone's pretty cutthroat about closing off that patch of potatoes is too big, I'm going to ring fence it, you'll have to go somewhere else. Yeah, just at the booth over there.
Right on.
So you are, it's interesting to want the bag rather than the game. Anyway, hopefully they enjoy the game. So within this, it has a level of cooperative, but really it's down to the people at the table how competitive it feels. But there is certainly plenty of competition if you want to play it that way.
That's brilliant. Thank you for the preview of that.
That is Sacred Valley. All right.
Okay, so the boxes are getting progressively bigger. Does the length of the game get progressively longer?
Not necessarily. So 20 minutes, 60 minutes, 30 30 minutes to 2 hours, and I'll explain why 30 minutes to 2 hours. So Nature is a game about adapting species in a shared ecosystem. You're all around a shared watering hole, and you have new species that you create each round, and you're going to give them traits, different abilities that help shape the way they interact with this shared ecosystem. The goal of the game is to eat as much food as possible, so you can be a herbivore, eat plant food, or you can go predator, and you can eat the other species around the table.
So it's the same goal as a participant in Gen Con is get as many board games, eat as much food as possible.
Exactly.
Yes.
So within Nature, the thing that differentiates it is there's a modular game system. So the core game is 30 minutes long, very accessible, it's friendly for new players. However, you can add modules into it which add one extra round to the game, around about 15 to 30 minutes extra, and they take about a minute to add. About 2 minutes to explain if it's the first time you've ever played with a module, or 30 seconds to add really if you've played it before, and that allows you to adapt the game based on who's at the table.
Oh, okay.
For example, if they like more aggressive play, you can bring in the Jurassic module, which brings in dinosaurs. It doubles the body size of the species, which means the food in the watering hole gets eaten faster. The species are bigger, so you get pushed into predation more, you have to eat each other more. If you like a friendlier play space, you can bring the flight module into play, which brings in avian species. Flocking is like a good defensive trait, because the more species that flock around the table, the higher the defensive value of all of those species. You can also migrate to new safe harbors. There's the rainforest module. This one brings bluffing and hidden card play into the game. So you don't know what a species is, and someone chooses to reveal the trait. In this case, poisonous, which means if you eat them, it's going to do a lot of damage to you initially, but then you build poison resistance over time.
Well, I love your description of this game, that it's almost a chameleon game where it adapts to who's playing.
Absolutely. So the idea behind it is if you're playing with someone new who maybe doesn't have a lot of experience in games, you can go, let's play the core game. You'll get familiar with the mechanisms, there's less traits, fewer traits, so that enables them to get confidence in it. And then you say, well, okay, next time we play, which module has the most interest for you? Do you want to be dinosaurs? Do you want to have flying species? And you can combine those modules however you see fit.
That really is nice thematically then.
So when you have Nature and the 5 modules, if you combine 3 modules, there's 21 different ways to play in the box. Each year we're releasing new modules, so we worked out in 2 years' time there'll be 72 different ways you can play.
Wow.
That sounds really complicated and confusing, but really just means choice. It means the choice of who's at your table, how long you have. So you could play a 30-minute game with just the core game, or you could add 3 modules in and play a 2-hour game, and it's based on that same structure.
Scratch whatever itch you have at that moment with the gamers there.
Absolutely. Nature is coming to crowdfunding September 17th, so if that's something you're curious about, feel free to go check it out.
72 games in one sounds like a good deal to me.
Not bad. The idea is the longer you invest in it, the more value it builds. The designer of the game played a lot of Magic. He was a pro Magic player in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
So he came second in the US when he was a pro Magic player.
That's Dominic?
Dominic.
Yeah, I'd love to meet him if he's around.
Right, he's not around right now, but he is around during the show. He's got a meeting at the minute. So within that, we don't want it to be like a cash grab system. We want it to be, it builds value.
Yeah.
You don't have to get all the modules, but each one you get adds value to all the ones you own. So every new module you add gives you more combinations. So it builds value rather than forcing you to play different ways. It allows you that flexibility of how you play.
That sounds fantastic. Well, thank you so much for all the previews. We appreciate coming today.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Ross.
Yeah.
And we'll look forward. We'll put a link down in the description.
Appreciate
Get you to NorthStar Games. And now get out there, get gaming, and be legendary.